welcome to this Graphite U video on version 2.1 audio features. We're going to start off by first listing that we have added sample rate conversion to not only the SDI frame syncs, but also to the AES input on the Rave ABMs. So the ABM, the audio breakout modules, previously would have required that the AES source would be word clocked or gen locked to the same reference as the Graphite. It is now possible to put free running sources into that AES input and not have to worry about it. As part of version 2.1, what we have included is not only the ability to have up to 3 ABUs, so the audio breakout units or audio breakout modules for the Rave audio mixer, we can add up to 3 units. You simply, on your menu, configuration, system page that we're on, you will be able to select how many audio breakout modules are associated with your Rave audio mixer. Now what we've added is the ability to configure the total number of channels that you'll have in addition to your audio breakout modules. Now these two are tied together. If I have one audio breakout module, I will be able to assign up to 36 additional stereo audio faders. If I disconnect the audio breakout module, I can have up to 48 stereo fader channels. And with each audio breakout module that we add into the system, we take away channels from the total number of the 48 available to us. Note that if we are to change either one of these items, it will require a reboot so that it can configure the FPGA accordingly and start up with that being your new configuration. Same thing with the ABM. If I change the number, it will need a restart. In version 2.1, there are additional changes into how we set up our mixes on our outputs. Every output has its own embedding system for passing the audio with the video signals. So on any of my internal passes that go up to the expression frame buffers, I now have the ability to set pass-through or all mixes. This is similar to how it was pre-version 2.1. However, in addition to that, we have now added a custom assignment. Previously, you could only pick a single stereo pair if you weren't doing a pass-through of the source selected, all mixes, which would previously assign the main pair to channel 1, aux 1 through 6, and then the monitor pair at the end, filling up in a very specific order. Now we've added the ability to assign for each output its own custom assignment. So here I can pick from silence, so to blank out this stereo pair in the embedded audio, to select the main stereo mix, to select the monitor audio, or any of the aux buses. So here we'll use the example of main on channel 1, aux 1 on channel 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8, 9 and 10, 11 and 12, 13, 14, and main on 15 and 16. This would be the similar configuration as what I would have on my all mixes. Now I'm able to set up an independent custom assignment. If I was doing an alternate feed, a separate submix, I may not want main going out. Maybe I want 1 and 2 to get aux 1, but I still want to have aux 2 and aux 3 while applying silence to the remainder of the channels. This is completely independent on an output by output basis. So again, coming in here, each output can be assigned its own custom configuration. Note that you will still have a limitation on the outputs that connect to the audio breakout modules. In this case, because there is a single audio breakout module defined, output 4 is the output that would be connected and passed through the audio breakout module. With this in mind, we must lock down output 4 to all mixes so that the audio shows up in the correct location. That way, when we configure the physical analog and AES connectors that are on the embedded module, with all the new changes, you'll notice that we now have the main and 6 independent aux stereo mixers. Each aux mixer has its own ability for pre, mute, post, solo, independent fader control for the audio that is going out that aux mixer. Each configuration also has its ability to display either all faders or a custom layout that you have created, and these are independent. So aux 1 can have its own custom versus all faders, while main, aux 2, aux 3 all have their independent. When configuring this screen, we'll note that there has been a large addition of controls and configuration for the audio mixer faders. As we stated earlier, I'm now able to define and configure the total number of configurable audio channels in addition to the fixed channels that come from things like the media stores, the PC audio, and then the analog audios and the AES from each audio breakout module that I've assigned. So on the left side, you will now have your fader source. So for the first fader, we now have the ability to pick from any of our SDI inputs as well as any of our expression frame buffer channels as well. Once I pick the physical SDI source, I can still give it a label so that the label associated with my audio mixer is not necessarily the same thing as the video input. So here, camera 1, I don't necessarily want the audio to be called camera 1. It's going to be called mic 1. In addition, you can now pick any of the stereo pairs that you'd like from any of the channels in the group. I can have channels 1 and 2, or in the case where this might be a microphone on the first fader, which is a mono source and only coming from channel 1, I can choose to do a mono. So here we'll put channel 1 in both the left and the right, creating a mono fader, and it will under the hood do an automatic 3 dB step down so that the audio level is not doubled. But now you have that audio that's essentially a dual mono. Mic 2 for my second presenter might be on channel SDI 1, channel 2. I'm able to split off those two channels and create proper mono audio for each one of them that will feed any of the stereo mixes. Audio follow video is now completely available in both a fade or a cut. Previously, transitions were all completed as a cut. When a transition started, the channels going on air would automatically cut on air. The transition would complete, and the channels going off air would then cut off air. Now you can have a fade of the fader, which will track the associated control of the auto transition or the fader bar. For sources that I don't want to perform a fade, I can keep them in cut mode. Here, Media Store 2 will be doing my animated wipe transition, or media wipes. And with that, I would rather that it instantly cuts on when Media Store 2 is on air, so that the audio will play out, and then as soon as it goes off air, it will drop the audio at the end as well. So now, always following with a cut. The final column in the fader configuration is the associated assignment to the video source that will drive its audio follow video status. Here, you're able to pick which source is going to drive that device and perform an audio follow video fade. Don't forget that if I don't want any of these to perform any type of audio follow video, on the main mixer is where you can disable audio follow video. In the right hand side is where we have our mixer layout config column. At the top you have a tab for each of your mixers, main through aux 6, and you have the ability to set up for your custom configuration the channel is visible, as well as being able to reorder how they will be displayed. So now we would have analog 2, mic 1, analog 1, mic 2. So when we go back to the main, we now have analog 2 as the first fader, mic 1 as the second fader, analog 1 as the third fader, and mic 2. Whenever you go back and select all faders, this will reorder and display all of the faders in the audio mixer, as well as place them in the default order or the left side order. Here, my 1 through 16 of configurable faders, followed by the media stores, the PC audio, the AES, and then the analog audio. That same configuration of order is how it will be displayed when we're viewing all faders. When we go back to our custom layout, we will now have only the faders we marked as visible and in the layout and sorting order that we defined for our system. With version 2.1, we now have a fantastic offering in the ability to configure the audio, be able to access any channel from any incoming embedded pair, as well as attach multiple ABUs, and configure a really wide audio mixer. Even if I'm not using a single audio breakout module and I'm bringing in a plethora of channels of audio via different SDI embedded pairs, I can now access 48 stereo faders in my audio mixer and define each fader from any input and any pair or mono pair of audio. On the output side, now we've got a dynamic, configurable embedded system, being able to place the audio paths that I need in the channels that I want on any of my outputs. I hope you guys really like these features that we've brought, and if there's any other videos you'd like us to do, please don't hesitate to send that to us at switchers@rossvideo.com, and we'll see how quickly we can get those up for you. Thanks a lot for watching, and have a great day.